New you in 22. JP, how's it going?
Refined you.
Refined.
Yes, refined. I believe everybody is awesome, right? Isn't that the Lego movie? Everybody's awesome. We just have to make minor adjustments. Don't throw it all out. Just kind of figure out what you want to tweak and work towards those minor tweaks. Because as we'll learn here shortly, it doesn't go well when you try to do the drastic stuff.
That's very true. And it's funny that you mentioned the Lego movie. Yesterday, that old Kelly Clarkson song came on. I say old, it's like 20 years old now. The Since You've Been Gone, Since You've Been Gone. And Connor, our son, goes, that sounds just like Everybody's Awesome. I was like, yeah, it does. I was like,
Oh,
but this song, Kelly Clarkson song, came out a long time ago. Man, American Idol's 20 years old.
I was that was like one of the number one hits. I'll bore you quickly. I would say when you go overseas, when you go off to war, you time travel. So since you've been gone was like a huge hit when I left, and
Yeah.
then I get back 18 months later and was like Kelly who here today gone tomorrow, right? And so I felt like I lost some stuff, but that was one of my favorite deployment songs. Don't tell anybody. It's a little embarrassing, but I love that song.
Was the movie 40-Year-Old Virgin when he's like, Kelly Clarkson. I still
Absolutely.
I still tease my kids with that when we go on, like, we went on a roller coaster in Galveston, and when we did the loop, I was like, oh, Kelly Clarkson.
It's good to embarrass our children.
Yeah. So how was your man? This is our first stream of 22. How was your holiday? How was Christmas and New Year's?
It was good. As you know, we went to Hershey, Pennsylvania, so there's not much that I own that I fit into. So it's sweater weather, not just because it's cold outside, but because it gives me a little more room to breathe. But aside from that, it was a lot of fun. How was your holiday?
Man, you guys embraced that trip too. I was seeing following you on Facebook, and that was fun to watch. So that would be a neat trip to do someday. I've got family from Pennsylvania, so we could kill two birds with one stone there. So
That's great.
man, ours was good. We've got all of our immediate families here in the local area, North Texas, and other than the fact that, as you know, we were supposed to go to Cabo right after Christmas, and Laura decided, she says, "Hey, let's go get boosted. It's a good thing to do." And then on top of that, we want to reduce our odds of getting COVID right before our trip. And our 12-year-old Mason gets COVID, even though he's vaccinated, but he was not boosted. And somehow Laura and I didn't get it. So we're thinking, okay, maybe that's evidence that the booster works. But either way, we would have rather been in Cabo. So that was kind of a bummer.
I love the fact that you didn't pull a Kevin and just tell your son that you'll be right back and leave him home alone. So
Yeah.
it's good of you to not start that family tradition.
Yeah, we might have teased him with some ideas like that. So, well, good stuff, man. So, any New Year's resolutions for you?
Oh, I'm absolutely terrified. I just hired a virtual assistant for the agency here, and I've failed a couple of times with those, and so I'm going for that definition of insanity. I'm trying the same thing over and over again, hoping from different results. But we do learn a little more each time, so I'm excited to see what that adds to our agency this year. How about you? What are you going to change up?
I don't have any explicit resolutions. In fact, the article we're going to read might help me back up my decision not to, but at the same time, the spirit of it is there. I told you I'm getting up super early, getting my workouts in, and definitely turning a page and wanting to do some things differently this year with both work and personal life. So it's a good time to be alive, man.
Yeah, it is. All right, let's take a look at some of these. Do you want to begin?
Let's do it. Sure. So these are some really interesting statistics we found on New Year's resolutions, specifically on a website called discoverhappyhabits.com. Probably good one to follow there. So yeah, we'll jump right in here. So successes and failure statistics of those who make a New Year's resolution after 1 week, 75% are still successful in keeping it. So 1 out of 4 of your friends who makes a resolution is going to give up. within 1 week.
I feel like that's a respectable number. I would expect that number to be far lower, and I don't consider myself a pessimist. I just think it's hard for us to keep up with dramatic changes in life. So I'm going to jump to a month. After 1 month, that number drops again to 64%.
So we make these resolutions saying that, hey, I'm going to do this ongoingly. I mean, it's not just for the new year, it's ongoingly. And within 30 days, 1/3 of people have quit. And then, okay, I'll jump down to after 6 months, pretty much everyone's done. 4%. 4% is your likelihood of doing that. So, what should we do differently, JP? I'm gonna put you on the spot, man. Any ideas as to better ways to keep, or should we just not be doing them, or do you have any thoughts on that?
So I'm gonna try to not look because I can cheat. There's actually an answer to this. Honestly, I think a lot of it just boils down to the trendiness of it, if you will, versus the genuineness of it.
Right.
When we look at New Year's resolutions, in my opinion, it's usually for someone else, right? Like I want to look better in my suit, or I want to have a better job or a better car. And a lot of times it's because we're trying to impress other people, or we're trying to have people perceive us as better than we think that they do today. And real change comes from inside. So my belief is that when we look at these resolutions, almost all of them revolve around things that we feel like we have to do, or things that we should do, versus changes that we want to make in our lives.
So you're right. That's pretty consistent with the article here. It says that there was a 2014 study that said basically 1/3 of the participants who failed just said that their goals were unrealistic, to begin with. So maybe we should be making smaller goals. I listened to a podcast, and this guy said that he had this is going to sound really funny, but it makes sense at the same time. He said every time that he uses the restroom, believe it or not, afterwards he'll go out, into his living room, and he'll do 2 push-ups. 2 push-ups. And I realized that's a pretty easy goal. But he said that what he found is that more times than not, he would not stop at 2, and he'd do more than that. And psychologically, it had an impact, because here he was, realizing that he's doing more than the minimum. And funny prompt there, to use the restroom and then go do push-ups afterwards. But I think that maybe there's a lesson there that if we do, more realistic goals, and we're not just, jumping to an extreme, saying, hey, oh my gosh, this is the year that I'm going to eat nothing but healthy food. I'm going to quit watching, Virgin River on binge on Netflix. Maybe if our goals were a little more realistic,
I'm going to watch one less episode a night. Is that the goal there?
Yeah, maybe that's a little more. I do not watch that show, guys. My wife does, but good stuff. So another thing it touches on here are the most popular resolutions. JP, you want to take this one?
I am going to try that. Let's see here. This is kind of interesting. In 2020, one of the most popular New Year's resolutions was to eat healthier. 44% of UK respondents chose this versus 43% of Americans. So I guess we're not all that different from our brothers across the pond after all. But there you go, 44, almost half of the people want to eat healthier.
So pretty obvious one there, I guess. Half of Americans in 2018 said they wanted to start the year by saving money and getting into shape. So we're seeing common themes there: health and wealth, if you will.
Quit smoking. That's another big health one, right?
Yeah.
People wanting to quit one of those terrible habits.
So I'll be honest, I can't remember the last time that I actually had, explicit, resolutions. JP, have you, I know you said you don't have any on record this year, but any stories in the past there?
I don't really think I have it. And for that very reason, I take it to, I guess, upbringing. My dad was always one of those, guys don't have regrets, have learning moments,
Yeah.
and kind of learn from your mistakes and move on. And so I've never felt a need to dramatically overhaul anything at the beginning of the year. I know that there's things that I need to improve on, but to the point of the article, those minor improvements just tend to stick. And now you create a habit, now you create a lifestyle. Now it sticks with you versus throwing it in within 6 months.
Right. I was noticing that Katie, your wife, has been talking a lot about health food and fitness and all that good stuff. So it sounds like she's wanting to start the new year on a good note.
I think that's more she's got a February birthday, and so if I was to play armchair psychologist, I think that has more to do with age. She has a specific age goal, and I think being around all that chocolate in December really made her think, if I want to hit that age goal, I could probably be eating a little healthier. So to that point, I guess I do have like a de facto resolution to be healthier with my wife. If nothing else, if I wanted to eat at home. Although I did make that joke the other day when she posted what she was making. I said I've got to stop off and see a friend, and it was Ronald McDonald. So, but I try to be as supportive as I can be on those health based issues.
Yeah, I have noticed it is so much easier to, make healthy decisions if your spouse is on the same track there. So here's an interesting one. All this talk about health and finances. Generation Z isn't worried about either of those as much. Generation Z wants to find love in 2022. So I don't even know what is Generation Z. Is that?
I think one of them. She's in your office,
Oh,
and she makes
okay.
she makes fun of how we utilize texting, emojis, and technology in general. That would be her generation.
There's definitely a disconnect there. Evidently, our generation is more likely to use um, periods and commas and so on in our texts. So punctuation is not. It's a lot more shorthand, I guess, for those youngsters.
Yes, and I learned that isn't a kiss sign; it's a I don't know sign. So I realized that I've been using that incorrectly. But thanks to her, I now know that. So that
I
was
don't
a
know.
good a
I
good
fact checked
contribution.
that one, and I think they're wrong, honestly. So
Good. Further digging requires. Now, I think this is funny. Regionally, the southern states find it more important to drink less alcohol than any other region, but the Northeast has more people that would like to stop drinking alcohol altogether. So, if you're a Samuel Adams fan, chances are you're going to stop drinking. If you're a bourbon fan, you're just going to go to like half a bottle a night instead of a full bottle a night. So that's kind of an interesting statistic.
so that's fascinating. Does it mean that the Northeast is almost they've almost quit drinking and they're about ready to get completely quit, or does it mean they're way over here and they need to do what they need to just quit cold turkey because of that, because they don't drink responsibly? Which is it?
I think it means that they know that they're just going to throw in the towel within 6 months or less. And so they're just paying off their credit card bills and putting money in the bank from the holidays, knowing that they'll be right back to drinking by somewhere around June.
So, speaking of generational differences, millennials are the most confident in their ability to keep their resolutions. Again, that doesn't tell us whether they're going to be kept or not. It just tells us that they think they will be able to.
Hmm.
And urban dwellers had a high likelihood of keeping their resolutions, while rural residents, as country folk, well, I'm not really a country person anymore, but I am from Crum, were the least likely to keep their resolutions. So that's kind of interesting. Just under half of people thought New Year's resolutions were pointless, and about a quarter thought that resolutions would help them improve their lives. So I'd love to hear what our friends think. Guys, if you've made any resolutions, leave us a comment. Let us know what your resolutions are. If you think resolutions are fake news, leave us a comment and tell us that as well.
Hashtag fake news.
We'd love to get your take on it either way around. So
I think there's a couple of points that bear considering, because I'm not a resolution guy, so it's easy for me to see that lens. But if you are a resolution guy or gal, it talks about developing the necessary skills or mindset ahead of time. So if you're going to make that big change, don't do it on December 31st. Maybe back in November or December, start kind of getting that running start, start developing the skills and the mindset to do that. And I love this: ask questions instead of making declarations. The question behavior effect is a phenomenon in which asking people about performing a certain behavior influences what they do. So instead of saying, I will exercise, go with, will I exercise? So I thought that was kind of cool, right? Some of those hacks, if you will, about being successful in those resolutions. And then sleep. I think everything that we see over and over again says, hey, man, if you don't have sleep, you just don't have the willpower or the energy to keep up with those things. So sleep is critical for everything, whether it's eating healthier, fitness goals, or improving work performance to get a promotion. Sleep is really, really important in there.
So I think sleep's a huge one. Laura's on this Peloton kick, and I say kick, but man, it is. You talk about long. She's been doing that.
This is a lifestyle, Jared. She's
6
on the
days
Peloton
a week.
lifestyle.
Yeah,
Yes.
6 days a week for probably 6 months now. And she was saying that within her Peloton friends, that's a thing. They were talking about how early they get up, and there's a lot of them that get up at like 3:30, man, and go to bed at 8:30 at night. You're an early riser, aren't you?
So it's funny, as life goes on, kind of. I used to wake up at 3:30 in the afternoon when I was younger, and now I don't have that luxury anymore. But I'm usually like a 5:30 kind of guy. If I do sleep in on the weekends, though, I love sleeping in on the weekends.
So if you're getting up at 5:30, you getting an 8-hour rest, or are you a little less than that?
Probably like 6 to 7. I'm not good at going to bed early. It's not a thing for me. Somebody created something called Netflix, and I have trouble closing the lid at night.
So well, very good stuff here. Again, I'd love to hear from our friends as to whether you've set resolutions. If you have, I'd love to hear what they are. If you haven't, I'd love to hear your thoughts on that as well. If you don't think that they work or anything like that, we'd love to hear feedback either way. So like I say, neither JP nor I have any explicit resolutions, but I do feel like the spirit of the new year, is impacting me. And I do feel like I'm improving some habits, at least for now. We're what, 2-3 days, a few days in now. So we'll keep going that direction, keep going down that path. So
minor improvements every day. Like I said, if you do 1% a day, you're 100% better in 3 months. Focus on those minor improvements. I think they count. Resolutions are good too. Heck, if you're one of those 4%, that's fantastic. If you're the 96% like us, let us know how you need help to keep you accountable and how you want to improve 1% a day and just go on this journey we call life together.
It's good stuff, man. Appreciate your time. And I know you wanted me to close out on a dad joke. So I've got one here, and then we'll wind it down. And you might have heard this one. I think I might have told you this one already, but it's just that good that I have to make sure, no one misses this one.
The world needs to know.
So if you're a fan of popular rock music, pop rock, if you will, Bono and The Edge walk into a bar, and the bartender says, "Oh no, not you two again."
Yes.
That's
86.
it, guys. That's all I got. I'll be here all day.
Tip your waitresses,
JP,
please.
Thanks so much for your time. Guys, if anybody wants to shop your insurance for the new year here, JP's a great person to know. And thanks so much for watching, guys. And make it a great day. Make it a great year.
See y'all.
Cheers.